worries. Okay, so good afternoon once again, guys, and welcome back for the session. And as we discussed, as we mentioned, we will be discussing over the front end part, how to become a front end engineer. And other than this, whatever the queries, whatever the questions that you guys are having, because अभी के questions बहुत सारे हैं, but at the same time, information भी available है over the internet. But what to choose and what to pick, that's the important and difficult part, I guess. Because having the right mentor and जो आपको आपके स्किल के हिसाब से नर्चर कर पाए, आपको आपके हिसाब से चीज़ों को गाइड कर पाए, तो वो चीज़ शायद अभी मिसिंग है. अभी बच्चों के वो करिकुलम से कह सकते हो या उनके जर्नी से मिसिंग है. बिकॉज इफ समवन इज प्रिपेयरिंग फॉर फ्रंट एंड इंटरव्यू तो वो सिंपली गूगल पे जाता है कि टॉप 15 क्वेश्चन फॉर फ्रंट इंटरव्यूज और टॉप समथिंग एल्स एंड बहुत सारे उसको लिस्ट मिल जाता है. बट अपार्ट फ्रॉम दिस वो इन्फॉर्मेशन तो बस एज स्टोर्ड हुई है. बट अभी के करंट सिनारियो में चीज़ें थोड़ी सी बदली हुई हैं रिगार्डिंग द इंटरव्यूज. बिकॉज बैक टू द प्रीवियस सेशन हम लोग डिस्कस कर रहे थे कि फ्रंट एंड इंटरव्यूज के पैटर्न में क्या चेंजेस आए हैं. एंड शशांक पांडे वॉज द मेंटर वॉज द
Hmm.
स्पीकर फॉर द सेशन एंड उन्होंने बड़े अच्छे से मेंशन किया कि नाउ दिस कंपनी आर फोकसिंग ओवर द प्रॉब्लम सॉल्विंग ओवर एल्गोरिथम्स.
Yep.
मींस पहले था कि व्हाट इज द क्लोजर इन जावास्क्रिप्ट, बट
Hmm.
अभी क्या है दे आर आस्किंग अबाउट व्हाट इज द बिहाइंड द मैकेनिज्म कि सीन के पीछे
Exactly.
क्या हो रहा है,
Yeah.
दूसरी चीजें क्या हो रहा है. एंड दिस इज द पार्ट वेयर द स्टूडेंट्स आर मिसिंग. So that's why we are here. A man of expertise, a man of full of experiences, Safi Khan, and he is a front end engineer at Happy High. I guess that was a very brief introduction about from my side. Shafi will be the right person to tell about himself about more. So yeah, Shafi, please.
Sure, Kunvat. Thanks for that. So hi guys. So a little bit about me. So I'm from Hyderabad. So basically, like right now, I'm working as a front-end engineer at Happy High. But before that, I have worked with two startups. So one was a earlier startup called Futuristic Labs. So over there as well, like I had a similar job profile of a front-end engineer, and I happened to also like work with React Native along with React during that uh, era with Futuristic Labs. Now coming to that, like I have also worked with a Bangalore-based fintech company called Wisdom. And right now, yeah, I'm here at Happy High. So mostly, like if you consider like a little summary of what my journey has been. So I'm having almost around 3 years of experience dealing with, you can say, front-end based applications, practically more in, you can say, React, JavaScript, and React Native. I think that should be enough, Kuman. So I think we can proceed with the
Yeah, yeah,
next things. Yeah.
sure, absolutely. ये तो शफी ने बताया, बट मैं कंक्लूजन बता दूं कि ही हैज अ लॉट ऑफ नॉलेज गाइस. ठीक है, तो ये सेशन मिस मत करना. दैट्स अ टिप फ्रॉम माय एंड. ओके. So yeah, let's start from the very beginner phase. I know यहाँ पे बहुत से level के learners यहाँ पे available है, but let's start from the very beginner. So the first question will be from on the behalf of those students जो भी beginner है, जो start करने वाले हैं. So like अभी क्या है कि बहुत सारे language and frameworks available हैं.
Mhm.
So what should be their roadmap? What should they choose to start their career in a front-end development? That's the question.
Got it. Got it. So either like I wanted to point out कि मतलब what step do like right now like I have like people who are not familiar I have been like even like mentor over like platforms like Preplace and Topmate, and before that also while on LinkedIn I used to interact with lot of students who were having lots of questions. So like I had received this question a lot of times where people who are just starting, so मतलब वो start तो कर लेते हैं. It's not like they don't have what to start from, so they start. But once they start, what problem I have faced them in common is like वो बीच में जाके अटक जाते हैं. मतलब वो like they don't make a proper roadmap before starting. That's the first thing which I have noticed. And once they do that, let's say like sometimes over LinkedIn or YouTube, like when they watch videos, people will be directly coming to conclusion JavaScript is the best language, and people sometimes I have seen people starting with JavaScript directly, not even covering CSS or HTML. So tab then they get and realize that we have missed something which is crucial. So one thing which I have noticed, and something which mostly like people who are starting front end development, or no matter like not only front end but also it keeps applying to other tech stack like backend or DevOps or even data engineering. So first thing which I have noticed is like roadmap of what we have to cover. So basically, again, like I'm telling, like what things you need to cover as a front end engineer, it's all start with the basics first. So अगर basic strong नहीं है तो your foundation will sometimes आपको बीच में stop करना पड़ेगा and you will be stuck. So first is HTML, then comes to CSS and JavaScript. So these three things are for a front end engineer or a web engineer, ये तीन things सबसे important है. उसके बाद coming to what tech stack you want to choose, that totally depends on what you are interested in. So mostly if you see current front end industry, it's more about you can say people working with React, even Angular is a framework, and even Vue or Svelte is there. But based on the current industry standards, people are more focusing on React. So first, I would suggest anyone who is just starting, HTML, CSS, and JavaScript is something which is like a must-have for you guys. After that, it depends on what framework you want to choose. So basically, I would suggest a library like React, which is again like again why React. It's cause you can say it. You can also deal with mobile applications using React Native for that. So ज़्यादा मतलब differences नहीं है. तो like this is actually even this happened during my learning experience at my first company. So I was just doing like I joined them as a React developer, but soon they were also working on the mobile app as well. So like although we did not have prior knowledge about working with React Native, but still what happened was since apart from the JSX, some differences between like you can say React and React Native for some beginner to start with. So it was easy to adapt to it. So like I would suggest like if anyone wants to like learn front end, just my point of view. So I would say HTML, CSS, and JavaScript are must. Then coming to what industry, I mean coming to what tech stack you want to choose. Basically, React is something which is kind of booming in market right now, as well as Angular is something one can go ahead with.
Okay, that's great.
Yes, Kunal.
Shafi, I would like to raise a one query क्योंकि जो बिगिनर्स है ना
Hmm.
ये कम्युनिटी में ये चीज़ें क्वेश्चन आती हैं उनके एंड से कि सर HTML CSS
Hmm.
जावास्क्रिप्ट these are the basic fundamentals बट
Hmm.
कहाँ तक करना चाहिए दैट्स द क्वेश्चन आई मीन व्हाट शुड बी द लिमिट लाइक अगर उन्हें एक लिमिट तक कर लिया सो दैट वुड बी एनफ टू प्रोसीड फॉरवर्ड
Hmm.
या फिर उन्हें पूरा का पूरा कंटेंट कवर करना चाहिए एंड द सेकेंड थिंग
Got
कि
your point.
HTML तो बच्चा कर लेता है बट व्हेन इट कम्स टू CSS तो उसकी जो मिड ऑफ जर्नी है ना वो वहीं पे स्टक हो जाती है उसके बाद वो चीज़ें इंटरेस्टिंग नहीं
Hmm.
लगती या फिर उसे मोटिवेशन नहीं मिल पाता तो ये दो चीज़ें बंदा कैसे टैकल
Got
करे
it.
दैट विल बी द क्वेश्चन
Understood. Yeah, I think that's a fair enough point, and like many people like also have asked this me as well. कि कितना like if you want to cover
या
CSS, how much is enough? So
बिकॉज देयर इज अ
basically,
लॉट टू
इसमें like if
कवर
you
इन
see,
ऑल दिस
yeah,
सेगमेंट्स
exactly. So no matter what language you take up, so it's not like you have to know everything. मतलब अगर आप CSS की बात कर रहे हो, there will be hundreds of styling, like be it flexbox, be it grid, be it positions, and even animations. Maybe there will be a lot of things. But the thing is, you any a front end engineer like no matter like is it front end or back end, nobody will expect you know to know 100% of the things, but it's so more about how quickly you can learn things and how quickly you will adapt. So coming back to your question, like how much is enough? So HTML mein it's all about you can say how HTML5 के important tags like semantic tags, basic. If you are working with headers like form elements and everything, that should be enough. Like along with tables and everything. CSS may be like there are certain topics along with you can say the basics of it, like basics तो हर कोई कर ही लेता है. Apart from that, important topics are like flexbox, grid, positions, animations, and transition as well. So yeah, things you can try to focus on these things more compared to other things. And now coming to JavaScript part, it's maybe like there are some important topics like you can say closures, how a function works, and again like JavaScript is somewhat a different type of language compared to other programming languages. So you should know how JavaScript is different from other languages. Like if you are trying to access a variable before even initializing it, JavaScript won't give you an array, but if you are declaring it with var, it will give you undefined. So this type of things is something different from other languages. So you should be accurate enough to know why it is happening. And certain topics like functions, closures, like asynchronous part of JavaScript and synchronous part of JavaScript, This all should be something that you have to first take care of before telling, "Okay, this is fine. Now I can move to React."
Okay, okay, that's great. There is a one question. Let's get it first. Okay, for animation, should we learn core animation or library like Framer Motion also acceptable? This is the question.
Okay. So Shivansh, like basically, like if you see, first you should know how the inbuilt methods work. मतलब be it like you can say some other third party apps बाद में आएंगे like third party libraries or packages. You can always pick up them down. But in an interview, like I'm telling about two perspectives. Like one is a interview perspective, second is a as जब आप काम कर रहे हो तब if you are using it. So when it's coming to interview, like nobody will ask you कि हाँ भाई you have to install this package, then you have to code. Nobody will tell you that. Like you are not allowed to do that. So basically, whatever are the inbuilt tools that the language provides, you need to go ahead with that. Now coming to it's you can say the company side perspective जब आप काम कर रहे हो as a front end engineer and then if you need to apply some complex animations तब you're free to choose whatever you want to pick up तब कोई like you don't won't be having restrictions but when it's coming to interview point of view whatever is there is in the inbuilt library okay like you since you have covered like css animations so css animations should be something you have to go ahead with.
Okay, that's great. So let's अभी तक हमने beginner वाली phase की बात करी. Now let's come to the for intermediate level learners, those who are thinking to build
Hmm.
some projects. And अभी का जो
Hmm.
बहुत दिक्कत आती है बच्चों के बीच में कि like if someone is making project, let's suppose e-commerce website or e-commerce platform is a very common among the students. पता चलता है कि आधा कॉलेज
Hmm.
वही बना के बैठा हुआ है एंड बच्चों को ऐसे काफी क्वेरी
Hmm.
आती है कि सब सबके प्रोजेक्ट सिमिलर हैं तो हाउ वी कैन स्टैंड अपार्ट इन इंटरव्यूज ऑल सच थिंग्स क्योंकि एचआर भी उनको रिजेक्ट कर देता है ऐसा उनका पीओवी रहता है तो फॉर द
Yeah, in
पोर्टफोलियो
fact, like
पर्पस
I have seen
या
this. Yeah,
या इट्स ट्रू.
you can continue, please.
So, what kind of project should they build? Or if any project exists, because I recommend कि if any project exists, to try to include some of your creativity in that. Let's suppose अगर कोई चीज़ आप आसान कर सकते हो तो try to build it. There's no issue in that. क्योंकि e-commerce तो बहुत सारे फ्लिपकार्ट भी है अमेजोन भी है मीशो भी है एवरीवन हैज देयर ओन ई-कॉमर्स प्लेटफॉर्म बट सभी अच्छा खासा रेवेन्यू जनरेट कर रहे हैं तो कहीं ना कहीं कुछ
Yes.
सबकी यूएसपी है. So that's where the student misses this part. इसको अगर थोड़ा सा एक्सप्लेन कर पाओ कि हाउ टू बिल्ड द प्रोजेक्ट्स हाउ टू बिल्ड द पोर्टफोलियो सो दैट वुड बी ग्रेट फॉर देम.
Yeah. Yeah. So coming to this, so basically, like you can say, like I even take like interviews in my current company as well as used to take in the previous company. So what I have noticed while shortlisting is there's a popular car platform. I'm not sure like which tutorial it is from. So basically, like I have seen at least in 10 resumes, three of them had it and it was exactly the same like even they use a car photo like fortuner ka photo at the start so it was again like the same so what I would suggest is matlab copy is a different thing and following up is a different thing तो आप follow up कर सकते हो like I'm not telling you no you have to build everything by yourself but try to include something by your own तो वहां पर आपकी learning होती है so this is what I every time suggest people like if you are following some tutorial, don't exactly copy the same thing which the tutorial is teaching you. Because if a tutorial is teaching you to add two numbers in a function, अगर आप same ही कर रहे हो, तो you won't be getting error और tutorial वाले को नहीं है error. But if you are trying to instead of adding those two numbers, if you are multiplying those two numbers, तो कॉन्सेप्ट तो आप कुछ सिमिलर ही फॉलो कर रहे हो बट अगर आपको एरर आएगा तो आप थोड़ा और डीप में जाके ट्राई टू यू विल ट्राई टू अंडरस्टैंड कि क्या एरर हो रहा है तब you can learn better. So same applies for projects. So it's okay if you are following a channel or a tutorial for building a project. But what will keep you separate from the crowd is what thing you are implementing by yourself. So even like as a front end engineer, even UI will matter. So maybe if the person in the tutorial is using some different kind of UI, आप कुछ और different UI आप खुद का create कर सकते हो. If he is using Flexbox, you use Grid. So ऐसे ऐसे छोटे छोटे steps से if you see on the longer term, you will be seeing a lot of learning. So that is one thing. And coming to what type of projects, so like again, like I'm not suggesting any e-commerce app बना लो या YouTube clone बना लो या Swiggy clone बना लो. So try to include projects which is first having a dynamic UI. तो ऐसा नहीं चाहिए कि लाइक यू कैन से इफ आई एम विजिटिंग अ वेबसाइट तो सेम वेबसाइट का यूआई कुवन को सेम दिख रहा है, प्रियंका को सेम दिख रहा है या यश को सेम दिख रहा है. So try to have a website which is dynamic and based on your user profile, it gives you that type of content. So and considering the current scenario, it's not about how many projects you build, it's about the quality of the project. So right now it's quality over quantity. So try to build two projects or even like you can say three projects. 2 to 3 से limit कर सकते हो आपके resume में. But make sure कि जो भी project आप बना रहे हो, it should have a dynamic content. User log in log out होना चाहिए. Responsiveness is also something major for front end roles. So ये तीन things apart from you can say some what you can say एकदम से fancy नहीं but some UI which looks attractive and you should also focus from the user's perspective. अगर मैं इस project का user होता तो इसमें क्या चाहता मैं. Because that is something that companies would look for. It's not only about coder but also like you can say thinking from company's perspective. So this type of things one can try to list down whenever you are building a project. Even if it's something you're watching a tutorial, try to implement something of your own. That's what I would recommend.
I would like to highlight a one very important point that you have mentioned here to try to build the projects from a user's POV because
Hmm.
that's what matters. क्योंकि आप नहीं चाह रहे हो कि if you want to order something from any platform तो आपके लिए you have to go multiple lot of processes. आपको
Hmm.
बहुत सारे stages clear करने पड़े मतलब आप ऐसा चाहो कि आपने तुरंत उसको कैट टू कार्ट किया ना आपके लिए बहुत फिजिबल हो जाए वो एक सीमलेस
Exactly.
एक्सपीरियंस हो यूजर्स के एंड पे तो आई गेस
Yes.
वो चीज़ स्टूडेंट्स को फोकस करनी चाहिए. Okay,
Hmm.
so that's a very honest answer, I guess. I would say on this project part. Now let's come to the very hot burning question: कि how to get an internship या job. तो पहले internship की बात करते हैं. Any of the student is trying to get an internship, उसकी क्या approach होनी चाहिए? Like अभी मेरी शुभम से बात हुई तो he is in final year. उनका
Hmm.
क्या approach होना चाहिए to get a full time offer as a fresher?
Hmm. So again, like there are two types. Like let's say, I want to understand, like answer it based on two POVs. One is you are in final year, and the next is you are in you can say some other years of like you can say second or third year or maybe even first year. So coming to answer based on the second one, let's say अगर आप final year में नहीं हो अभी, मतलब you'll be having time to you can say graduate अभी, तब what you can try to list down is see whatever your approach is you can learn the things you can based on your learning you can build something which is supposed to be a portfolio and when it's coming to applying so basically try to gain experience over प्रोजेक्ट्स. तो ऐसा नहीं कि आपने 3 प्रोजेक्ट्स बना लिए अब आप सेकेंड ईयर में हो तो फोर्थ ईयर तक है मैं और ऐसे 30-40 प्रोजेक्ट्स बना लूंगा दैट विल हेल्प मी गेट शॉर्ट लिस्टेड बेटर. सो दिस इज नॉट हाउ कंपनीज और समवन हु इज हायरिंग विल लुक फॉर. विल ट्राई टू सी के आपके पास कुछ वर्क एक्सपीरियंस है. तो इवन लाइक इफ समवन इज शॉर्ट लिस्टिंग योर रेज्यूम, so let's say there are two resumes. One is having 2 projects along with a internship in his profile, and the next person is having 4 projects. So people will try to prioritize people, someone who has done internship. Because the thing is, it's not only about coding, but also working with a team, which the person with the experience is having. So again, how to get your first internship? So there are a lot of platforms like Internshala, Kuwait. So basically, ये platforms पे आप आपका show them the portfolio. So basically, like no matter whom I'm speaking to, be it a fresher, be it someone with experience, every time I recommend this only, try to cold mail people because that's the best way you can get and expect an reply. So in fact, like all the previous job switches I had, like second and third job switch, I just restricted myself to applying like via cold mail or maybe via referral. So these are something where basically cold mail in the sense आप directly hiring manager या you can say someone who is an HR at that company, you are connecting with him, you are sharing him your portfolio. Okay, this is the job description, these are my skills, and this is what I have built, and how this is how I am aligning towards your job role. तो जिसमें आपका मतलब if the person hiring manager is liking your profile, you can get an eventually get an interview call. So again, I think some people are pointing out some more platforms like InstaHire and everything. So I would suggest, yeah, go ahead with them as well. So you can say there are a lot of platforms you can say, but I would say cold mailing is something that is gonna get you some more replies. So that is one thing as an intern or someone who is applying for internships can focus on. Now coming to the people who is in final year and about to graduate in few months. तो अगेन आप लाइक फर्स्ट टाइम देखो कि मतलब लाइक स्पीकिंग फ्रॉम ऑफ कैंपस पर्सपेक्टिव हियर कुमार तो आप चेक कर सकते हो कि लाइक इफ समवन इज हैपनिंग लाइक इफ आई एम अप्लाइंग टू इंटर्न रोल देयर एंड आर दे ऑफरिंग मी पीपीओ और नॉट so this is the best way I would say कि मतलब and I would say kind of a more easier way than looking for directly fresher roles. So, like you can work as an intern there for a few months, and if they are converting to full time, like that's the easiest way to get in. But even for freshers, like the approach which I've said, like your resume along with portfolio, and these hiring platforms like InstaHire, Covet, Wellfound, etc. These are the best places to get into for you can say looking your first job or your first internship.
Okay, that's great. Uh, Shafi, there is some question in chat section. अगर आप उनको आंसर
Okay,
कर पाओ तो one is from
sure.
Shivansh Yash.
I think I missed a lot of chats, so like, can we go one by one? Like, I'm not able to figure out
Yeah, yeah,
where it started from. Uh,
sure.
so I think Varun is asking, please give in-depth tips for dynamic one. So Varun, like, I think you're asking from you can say the perspective of how to make a dynamic UI. So basically, dynamic one in the sense, let's say, अगर आपका Facebook जैसा आप एक सोशल मीडिया वेबसाइट बना रहे हो, जहां पर if you see I won't be having the same type of post for every user. So it depends on आप किसको follow कर रहे हो, आपके friends list में कौन है. It depends on that. And again, dynamic one also include like not like same type of post. मतलब आप कौन से भी social media tool ले लो, they don't have just posts in text format. They have you can post in you can say videos, you can post gifs, you can post images. So these are some of the things that can be considered under a dynamic UI and how to approach off campus for freshers. You, I think, I have answered most of it. But again, it's mostly, I would say, matlab, referral is one way. Second way is cold mailing. And third way is directly आप apply कर सकते हो. And in fact, like I have seen on Naukri.com, so like although I haven't used it much, but heard it from my friends, where if they are active mostly on Naukri, so I think on the SEO of the recruiters, it depends कि आपकी profile top पे show होती है. So मतलब even you guys can try that. Yash is having a question where he's asking how to get a product-based company in front end. So yes, like it's again like something which you can have to apply. So just basically try to see what type of companies are hiring right now. I think LinkedIn is also the best way where you get to know from your connections or someone people who follow कौन सी companies hire करी है. So and like again like it's not about मतलब it's hard to get in a product based company when it's coming to shortlisting मतलब दोनों भी जगह same ही like you will be following the procedure of applying to them but basically like since you're targeting product based companies so you can research more about you can say the companies like what type of product they are building and everything so this way I think you can get better chances of getting into one. uh Shivansh is saying hmm, so Shivansh, it totally depends on you can say the role you are applying to. So WebSocket, cookies, JWT, mostly you can say again like whatever things I've came like talked about using shortlisting that applies to all the companies. But when it's coming to interview rounds and interview questions, so every company will be having different type of things. So let's say अगर अपन big tech की बात करें, they will definitely have two DSA rounds or something, maybe a system design round, even for fresher for front end roles. Whereas some medium level product based companies, yeah, entry level product based companies will solely focus on your front end skills, especially the machine coding round. And even like I think some service based companies will set see your concepts or how good your concepts are. So basically, it depends what type of company you are applying to. So based on that, and now coming to your question, where should you learn WebSocket, cookies, JWT? In a you can say short answer, yes, you need to learn, but again coming to why learn you have to just know the how they work or you can say on an abstract level आपको deep में जाने की जरूरत नहीं है उसके लिए just like if you are having a knowledge about how what WebSockets are or what JWT क्या है so basically इसमें like interviewer won't give deep into that, but still if you're having a knowledge, so that will be like a bonus point for you. So people would you can say that will make you like a bonus point for you during the interviews. So uh, Uh, Yash is asking review of this book, Fluent React for Intuitive Application. So I haven't seen that book yet, Yash. So sorry, I can't answer that question. Uh, his degree really matters. I'm a BCom student. Okay. So I would suggest I have got mentees, or you can say even like in first company, someone from a mechanical background was hired as a front end engineer. So degree won't matter if you're having skills, but when it's coming to shortlisting, you have there's some what you can say difficult hoga. Matlab people would what you can say, let's say if there are two resumes in front of the HR, people with a computer science degree might get more preference if both the things are having same skills. तो तभी like this is what you can say the cold mailing comes as a rescue. जब आप cold mailing कर रहे हो तब आप HR को या hiring manager को आपका portfolio भी share कर रहे हो. So तब that HR or the person might not look on your degree के BCom है, BSA या BTech है, your like some you're having a degree or not, but he will see your portfolio. And जब वो portfolio देखता है तब he doesn't really care about degree. If he is liking that portfolio, he will go ahead with and shortlisting your profile. So that's how I would suggest. But degree is important. अगर आपको chance मिल रहा है BTech या BCA में जाने का, I would suggest to go for BTech. That's my answer to that. Mhm. Off-campus pressures, like same question, you like same things like which I suggested. First, build a good portfolio, and when it's coming to apply, use this platform like InstaHire, Wellphone, etc. And cold mail or referral is also you can say best approach. Front-end development में which language? JavaScript is a must basic. So मतलब HTML, CSS are something like a fundamentals, and so does the JavaScript goes. So these three things are something you have to must have when it is coming to learning or becoming a front-end engineer. And now the secondary things come के उसके बाद आप framework या library कौन सी choose कर रहे हो. तो React, Angular, Svelte या Vue, that depends totally on your interest. Hmm. Shashank is having a question. He was on bench for 2 years and he next learned nothing. Shashank, there are two POVs from this question. So changing your tech stack cause not getting calls from one tech stack. Let's say you are saying कि आपने front end already किया है, but you are saying कि you're not getting calls. So like how guaranteed it is कि अगर आप full stack में जाओ तो calls आएंगे. So totally it depends on that. But I would suggest matlab, try to go with the ways I have suggested like cold mailing or via referrals. If not, even if that is not working, you're you can always adapt to a new tech stack like full stack that you're going. I would suggest Node.js cause considering you can say MERN type of applications. तो उधर आपको like you are already covered with you can say React Native. तो अगर आप सिर्फ MongoDB और you can say Node सीख रहे हो like including Express, so I think MERN can have a stronger portfolio on your profile as a full stack engineer. Yeah, I think those were some of the questions. Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Some of them asking to connect you on LinkedIn. It would be great if you can share your profile link here in the chat
Yeah,
section so they can connect.
I'll be sharing that profile section in a minute. Yeah, guys, like feel free to ask more questions here so that like you can say you can always ask me questions in you can say LinkedIn chat, but you can say one-on-one interaction may the way you can
Yeah.
expect answer the same won't be over chat. So don't you can say feel shy or something like just treat me as your friend. Like it's not like Shafi sir hai ya koi aur hai. Yes, I'm just like you. I was like you guys only. I think Shubham has a question. Yeah.
सर कॉन्फिडेंस कैसे लाएं?
I guess ये बहुतों का
I
question
think
होगा.
सी लाइक आपने अभी हैंड रेस करके कुछ पूछा है, दैट्स कॉन्फिडेंस आई वुड से. व्हाट एल्स इज कॉन्फिडेंस? यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट इनफ के यू आस्क अ क्वेश्चन बाय रेजिंग योर हैंड. So it's more about you can just speak up. Like don't really care कि मतलब सामने वाला क्या सोचता होगा. Like in fact, like I used to ask very silly questions during my engineering tenure. Like although sometimes I knew the answer, but I would still ask that same question because it just you can say somewhat like जो भी आपको stage fear या shyness रहता है, when you are doing this thing, this get you can say टोटली एलिमिनेट हो जाता है. तो इनफैक्ट लाइक शुभम आपने मतलब पूछा है क्वेश्चन, सो यू आर कॉन्फिडेंट इनफ. So how to be more confident? Just try to speak more. I would suggest like keep asking questions. That's the best way you can learn, and also you can say try to get noticed by the people. Yeah.
सर जैसे कि प्रोजेक्ट बना रहे हैं तो उसमें कॉन्फिडेंस नहीं आ रहा है।
मतलब कॉन्फिडेंस इन व्हाट वे इन द प्रोजेक्ट्स, मतलब
मतलब
क्या इसमें क्या प्रॉब्लम आती है आपको?
मतलब कि खुद से बनाने में दिक्कत हो रही है ताकि
See,
ज़्यादा ट्यूटोरियल देखना पड़ जा रहा है।
आप एकदम से बड़ा बनाने का मत सोचो. स्टार्ट विथ स्मॉलेस्ट थिंग. मतलब आप टू डू लिस्ट तो आप इजीली बना सकते हो. एक इनपुट फील्ड लो एंड उसमें टास्क ऐड करो. दैट्स ऑल्सो अ प्रोजेक्ट. नाउ कमिंग टू बिग प्रोजेक्ट्स, यू डोंट नीड टू लर्न एवरीथिंग. मतलब सब एक साथ नहीं करना है आपको. ट्राई टू ब्रेक सबको एक इन सर्टन कंपोनेंट्स, मतलब एक चंक्स में डिवाइड करो आप. लेट्स से अगर आप पोर्टफोलियो साइट बना रहे हो आपकी, तो पोर्टफोलियो में आपका एक स्किल सेक्शन रहेगा, एक आपका एक्सपीरियंस सेक्शन रहेगा, एक आपकी प्रोफाइल की समरी होगी. सो एक एक थिंग डू वन थिंग एट अ टाइम, एंड इवेंचुअली आफ्टर सर्टन टाइम यू विल बी कंप्लीटिंग द प्रोजेक्ट. तो ट्राई नॉट टू थिंक ऑफ कि इतना ज्यादा करना है. ट्राई टू पिक वन थिंग एट अ टाइम विद अ प्रॉपर प्लानिंग.
ओके।
Okay. There is one question from Yash.
ओके.
Let's suppose we are rendering 100 divisions in a page and pagination is not allowed. Each component fetches data from the server. So how can we optimize this? I guess for this, yes, you can use that React to virtualized libraries, right, Shafi? For this, or
या
you can use React window as well, because ये क्या
I
होती है
have a
कि ये illusion create
question
करती
for
है.
Yash. Yeah, great, Kumar. Like I am having a question for Yash. Like, what do you mean by optimization here? Yeah, you can write in the chat. Like, you need to speak up.
Reduce
Okay.
API calls.
So basically, let's say अगर आप 100 divs डिस्प कर रहे हो, pagination not allowed. So if you can say infinite scrolling is something which you can go ahead with. And other thing is मतलब again like it depends on API call. आप मतलब are you doing API call on every type of render? So basically even you can say try to store the things which were rendered already. मतलब आप उसको states में store कर सकते हो. And you can say even use like libraries like Redux or something to optimize it in a more better way. But you can say pagination not allowed it to, like you can say like infinite loading, or you can say side of things you can try. Along with you can say memoizing it better. Agar wo some of the your diffs are you can say sort of you can say pure components आप बना सकते हो using by wrapping them into React.memo. So basically like again optimization comes again like you can say optimization about you can say the space complexity या मतलब टाइम ज्यादा ले रहा है वो या रेंडर सही से नहीं कर रहा है. So it totally depends on the actual use case, and based on that we can go ahead. So I think Elisha is also having a question.
Yeah.
HTML CSS JavaScript is enough for front end development? For the basics and the building blocks of your front end engineering, it is enough. But again, like you can say, people would expect more things. So let's say अगर आप कोई job apply कर रहे हो तो something like a styling library which is common like Tailwind CSS या Material UI you might be seeing. Yeah, even like there's a state management tool like Redux. So people would expect you to learn these things, and आपको ये things अलग से learn करने की जरूरत नहीं पड़ेगी. तो आप जब projects बना रहे हो, try to use these things in your project. मतलब आप React का प्रोजेक्ट जब बना रहे हो, मटेरियल यूआई या टेलविंड सीएसएस यूज करके यू कैन मेक द यूआई बेटर. आपकी फंक्शनलिटी भी अच्छी दिखेगी, मतलब अच्छी बनेगी उससे. यू डोंट नीड टू राइट ऑल द कोड बाय योरसेल्फ. प्लस यू कैन ट्राई टू यूज सम इनबिल्ट टूल्स which again during when you're working you will be using most of the times this type of tools only like material UI या tailwind css या sometimes even bootstrap I would say. So whatever these things I have mentioned, you have to learn them when you're making projects. If not like projects, सिर्फ आप मतलब HTML, CSS या JavaScript से create कर रहे हो, so that won't be of more use.
Okay. So let's take one last question. As a fresher front-end developer, how much DSA need? That's a question from Samshul Alam.
So, Samsul, it again depends on the company that you are applying to. So basically, if you're applying so big level, you can say some big product-based company or medium level product-based companies, and it depends on how much experience you are having. So people will also try to, you can say, ask you some problem solving question, and I would suggest it problem solving not like a DSA round, because problem solving might also include problems from JavaScript, or if you guys have used Lodash library, तो वहां पर भी Lodash के इनबिल्ट मेथड्स जो रहते हैं आपको you have to code that, or you can say even polyfills of JavaScript, like different methods like array dot map का आपको polyfill लिखने के बोलेंगे. Polyfill, those who don't know, like you can say custom implementation of a JavaScript method. So this all depends on that. And now coming to again how much of DSA is needed. I think arrays and strings should be enough, but whatever problem that you are picking up, try to understand how can you write in a brute force way, and उसको बाद में optimize भी कैसा कर सकते हो आप. These things should be something which you might need. Okay.